Ew, my dog is like throwing up. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, my name is Katja and I make fashion related videos and yeah, sometimes lifestyle and travel. But today it's gonna be a little bit of like a chat vlog. I'm gonna share with you some of my things that I've learned in my 20s and some things that I did, I guess the highlights, I guess. And maybe you can take something from this, maybe you can learn from some things if you're just starting in your 20s, or maybe you relate to some of these things if you're in your 20s and about to leave your 20s. I just turned 29, so this is the last year of my 20s, and it's kind of bittersweet because I feel like your 20s is associated with being young and youthful, so I'm a little bit sad, but I know the 30s is supposed to be technically even better, so I should embrace it. But anyways, yeah, so I'm sure I'm going to learn a few more things before the end of this year, but this is basically the things that I've learned in my 20s, so for basically the past almost 10 years, and I just wrote it down here. So the first thing that I wrote, and this is nothing in particular order, is that I can't please everyone in life. There's a quote which is, "You're not Nutella, you can't please everyone." So it's basically really true, and I'm naturally a people pleaser, so that can be kind of difficult for me, but I've learned a lot from this, and it's best to take care of yourself first, and basically care less about what other people think. Other people's opinions, don't take it so seriously, take care of yourself first, and then those right people will be attracted to you more and want to hang out with you more, and true friends will be there for you, because they will respect you more because you respect yourself first. So that's something I've been learning. I've also learned that animals show the best form of unconditional love. I've been around a lot of people in the past in my 20s, family, friends, and I've really learned that animals do truly give you the best unconditional love. So my dog is like everything to me, and I think a lot of people who are going through hard times in life, they heal a lot better when they have an animal for that reason, because they give you so much love and they don't ask for anything back. And I've been hurt by a lot of people, so like dogs and animals just in general really, really mean a lot to me. And I think as a kid you just think, oh, it's a pet. But when you get older, you really realize the value in a pet. Next thing is not to be first to respond back to people. So whether that's a text message or an email, I used to be always like right away, and sometimes I still do, that's a bad habit, but like respond to people. And it's mostly more for organization. I hate having things to do, but I've learned that people kind of take advantage of you a little bit, or think you're just super easy to contact if you quickly respond to them and do everything they say right away. So just give a bit of time, give an hour to respond, unless it's really important, of course. And yeah, I think that's kind of important. Actually, my husband gave me that tip, so yeah. The next one is true confidence comes from loving yourself from the inside out first, and accepting your, outwardly flaws, whatever those may be. Then you can also feel the happiest about yourself when you truly love yourself inside out. Next thing I learned is I'm not as extroverted as I once thought. The older that I get, I feel actually a lot more enjoyment being alone, and I really still like hanging out with people, and I still need it because I am an extrovert, but I'm definitely not as extrovert as I thought. As a teenager in my early 20s, I was really obsessed with hanging out with people 24/7, but I think that was like a major way to kind of like push away my anxiety and keep me distracted. But the more calm and in tune and like confident I get, I actually don't need as much of that. So yeah. When you hit the hell, my dog just choked. Ew, my dog is like throwing up. Okay, that's sick. The next one is when you hit the age 25, something really does truly click in your brain. Like, I think your brain stops developing at age 25, and it really feels like that. When I hit 25, it's like, not that I didn't understand things before, because I did. I was pretty mature for my age, but I felt like at 25 something just kind of clicked. It's like, oh, like, I understand life. It's hard to explain, but that's a thing. Also, hard times, I believe hard times have a reason, and they do strengthen you, and they prepare you for the next thing, which is going to be amazing, and then you'll appreciate those amazing things more, because you had to struggle a bit. So sometimes negativity is actually a good thing when it turns around. The next thing that I learned was that I started to discover a lot more about myself, like why I do the things that I do, whether they're positive things, but I guess mostly negative things that I would consider, maybe bad habits or ways I respond to things, or like mental health. I started to like understand where those things come from a little bit more, and like why they happen, and a lot of them for me come from like childhood abuse and things like that. So I think the more awareness I get, the more I've been able to help myself, also forgive myself, but also just grow. And it's also helped me to have more empathy for people that are going through hard things, but also for people that have hurt me in my life, whether that's my parents, like childhood abusers, or just bullies in my life. When I can kind of like see their actions from more like a psychologist perspective, I don't take it as personally as much as I can, but then I can see more like, oh, they were damaged people themselves, and kind of try to figure out what caused it on them. And then just I feel like it kind of relieves bitterness, because I don't think bitterness is good, and hating someone or not being able to forgive someone is not healthy, and then you will be impacted by that in your personality, and you'll be an angry person, and then your cycle continues into generations. So it's really helped me to be able to understand why things happen a certain way, especially with how it impacts me today as an adult. I've discovered that above anything in life, family, your like real close family relationships, your spouse, your siblings and parents and your children. I don't have any yet, but those are really the most important things in life. And when you don't have all those things, it's really hard. So if you have family, you should really value them and not take them for granted, because truly at the end of the day, family is like everything, more than friends. And also God is everything. And without God in my life, I would truly have no real hope in life. I don't mean just an afterlife. I mean a hope and a life and a purpose today. So I'm very thankful to God for that, specifically Jesus. I also discovered that compliments mean nothing from other people if you do not compliment yourself first. So just make sure you say nice things to yourself and believe nice things about yourself, because otherwise people can say all the nicest things to you. It means nothing. Not really, because you won't really believe it. Or you'll depend on those compliments. So like when I was younger, I was always complimenting my looks, but because I hated myself inside, I didn't really even, first of all, I didn't see what they saw, but I didn't even care. It didn't mean anything because I didn't compliment myself. So that's really important. Also, next one is don't compete with others. Don't compare yourself with others. It just wastes your time, and it's not going to change any reality. So the best thing is to compete with yourself and compare yourself with who you were yesterday and be a better version of yourself tomorrow. I learned that acne is not just for teenagers. I'm almost 30, I'm 29, and I still have acne. So it's great. I know I thought it would be over by now, but it's not. So I don't know, I'm gonna accept it. And age is just a number. Although I'm almost 30, I'm 29, I still feel like relatively young inside. I don't really feel like a 29-year-old. Like, I'm very mature for my age, but I'm very, like, I have a young soul inside of me, so I'm still a kid at heart, and like I listen to Aqua, and like that's just how I am. So yeah, so those are like things that came to mind when I was thinking what I learned in my 20s. I'm sure there's tons more. The things, like the highlights that I did in my 20s, so I wrote down, I got baptized and I gave my life to Jesus, which was the best thing ever, but of course it caused me to be like lose family and be shunned. That's a whole other story, but I had quite the childhood, so making that choice had some consequences. And I did get baptized in a river, which was really cool. I paid off visa debt with my husband recently, which is pretty cool. I've been in 4 fashion shows. I've done modeling. I've styled a photo shoot. What's the next one? I've traveled like many times to Europe. I've been to the States, and I've traveled to Alaska, which is the States, but it seems farther. Yeah, so I've done a lot of traveling, which is fun. I've faced a lot of my fears, and I'm currently still working on them. I got my 3rd ear piercing, but then I let it grow over recently because it's just not mine to heal. And I've dyed my hair blonde. I'm naturally a brunette, so that's something I've done in my 20s. I've lost friends, but then I've also made friends, and the older I get, the better friends I make. I got a dog in my 20s and she's still with me. I took a fashion course. I wrote and published my first book. I started a jewelry website and I also had a vendor for it. I bought a car. I had a colonoscopy. That's just something I did because of family and genetics. I sponsored a child. I explored new churches. I discovered my love for psychology. So that's something that I'm potentially in the, like, when I get a little older, maybe I'll take some psychology courses. I would really like to do that. But before, when I was younger, I never really was interested in that kind of stuff. But now that I'm older and I can kind of look back at my childhood and people in my life and like the abuse I've gone through in my life and just different things, I've really been interested in psychology. So it's kind of a hobby of mine, and like sometimes I can go overboard and just research the heck out of everything from like just anxiety to psychopaths. So it's really fascinating to me. I've been to a shooting range, so did that. And I've tried like a lot of holidays for the first time in my 20s, like including birthdays and Christmas. I never grew up with those things. That was really exciting. And lastly, on this video, I'm going to mention what are the last things I would like to do in my 20s before I hit 30. These are things I would like. Life doesn't always give them to you in this order, but these are the things I'd like. I'd love to try for a baby. I really want to be a mom now. I'd like to save up a lot more money so that we can eventually move to the ocean, specifically like in Denmark, but BC, Canada is nice too. I want to grow my fashion brand more. One day have a boutique, but that's not going to be now, but I would like to grow it more this year. And I would like to write a testimony book of my life and also kind of like how I came to know Jesus. So yeah, that's something I would like to accomplish this last year in my 20s, and also just live life each day and appreciate the small things. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. I'm sure when this is over, I'm gonna be like, oh, I forgot to say this, but this is just kind of like off the top of my mind and my heart. But I hope you enjoyed this video. It's a little different. I will be posting another video soon, probably like a travel vlog. But if you enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!